one of the reasons the SEZ program has been very successful across the country, in my view, has been its contribution to bulk infrastructure. So you find places where otherwise industrial development wouldn't have happened and you put bulk infrastructure. So that's usually the first step. The second one is then that many of these companies will come get space at discounted rates, and then those which are at a point where they can give tax benefits for exports, and there would be those. So that's basically the main reason why you have all of these SEZs and what they actually bring. So in the speech, the MEC for Finance has put in a lot of emphasis on SEZs as a contribution, and we have a lot of them in Gauteng, one being the Gauteng Industrial Development Zone, and there's a few others we're developing at the Vaal, West Rand and Lanseria, but some of them still have to comply and meet the process with the DTI. So the province has committed some money into bulk, has committed some money into putting together the master plans that are required for designation. So in short, the budget speech did help us in showing the importance, but also putting cash where it is required. Post-COVID, we still haven't really seen net growth of businesses that were affected, because a lot of businesses lost ground and they are now recovering. But I mean, in keeping with the SEZs, part of what we've looked at in some of them, like the Gauteng Industrial Development Zone next to the airport, where we've created space for SMEs who are in jewelry design. So we've created space where, again, their rentals are a bit cheaper, but we bring them into an ecosystem of other diamond traders and diamond manufacturers where they have access to diamonds in a secure environment, and also the logistics are a little bit easier. So there are specific programs that we're looking at on the SEZ program, but there is also the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller that does financing on small businesses. And one of the big things the province did a couple of years ago was to set up a Township Economic Partnership Fund, which is targeted at small businesses. We partnered with the ITC on that, 200 million from the Gauteng province, 200 million from the ITC, and then later we had 100 million from SASME. So it became a cooperation between different entities, both public and private, and that money has gone into financing taxis, has gone into financing purchase orders, has gone into financing rentals in townships. It started in Galfontein as one of the big projects on the rental stock in townships. So there is a lot of money that the province has committed into SMEs. We're looking now on a second round of these partnerships and how we can bring money directly into SMEs, because I mean, ultimately, without the funding, and in this we make sure, one, we fund businesses that would otherwise not be funded by commercial banks, but we also make sure that the cost of the funding doesn't make it prohibitive. Like purchase order funding, there's many people who are funding it, but those who are participating with us on the fund will put a cap on how much they can charge so that it doesn't become unaffordable for entrepreneurs. So it's a big focus for the province, and a lot of it, a lot of those funds have already been deployed. So we're hoping in the coming budgets and budget adjustments to get additional funds which we can then deploy directly. But we've had very significant and successful partnerships. The only way really government gets to be effective, in my view, is to find partners. The fiscus has a limited amount of funds that can be deployed. So you then partner with like-minded people who either bring money as well or maybe bring resources you don't have. And in what we did, we decided the province will take more risk, just to try and simplify it. On the fund, this 400 million rands fund that we put together, the province is taking a 20% first loss, which then de-risks for all the other private parties. But what that did was that it made us to leverage the money almost 4 times, which would otherwise not happen. So you now bring money that would not happen because of a certain level of perceived risk, and once you take a little bit of that away, then money comes in. That's what also the bulk infrastructure does. We have a big company called Mitochondria that's looking at doing renewable energy in the Vaal, and the Vaal would not have had the bulk infrastructure required from the municipality to do what is required or to attract the investments. But because of the contributions by the DTI and what the province is also looking at putting it together, you now have billions of investments that are going into the Vaal. So it's that kind of partnership that helps us succeed. The industrial development zone, which was one of the more successful ones earlier, same thing. You have Into Foods, that is packaging food. In there, it would have been difficult to do it without the contribution on bulk. Ford in Pretoria has been another successful project. South Africa now exports the new Ranger to the rest of the world, and that was again because the DTIC and the province contributed in putting money to have that infrastructure. So a lot of really these partnerships are very practical, and they have delivered.